Welcome back, everyone, to the Deep Dive. This time, we're going deep into the world of memory.
Oh, this is fascinating stuff.
We'll be using three sources today.
Oh, really cool.
We'll start with a page from the Lesley University website, all about the psychology of memory formation.
Okay.
Then we'll look at a blog post from Lifebook. It's a memoir writing service.
Interesting.
They talk about how our memories shape us, who we are.
Right.
Then, for a really wild perspective,
Okay.
we'll look at a Biotech MN article that links memory and epigenetics.
Wow, so we've got like the solid psych base with Leslie.
Yeah,
Lifebook brings in the personal angle.
exactly.
And then Biotech MN hits us with the hard science.
Yeah, it's going to be a great deep dive.
I'm excited.
All right, so Lesley University starts by breaking down memory formation into three stages:
Classic.
sensory register, short-term memory, and long-term memory.
Yeah, I remember learning this in school.
They use the example of looking at a computer screen.
Uh,
You look away, but you briefly see the image still.
right.
That sensory register, it only lasts a few seconds.
It's wild how much we just don't even register, though, right?
Yeah, most of that sensory stuff just fades away.
If we don't pay attention to it, it's just gone.
Exactly. And that's where short-term memory comes in.
Okay, so we're actually focusing now.
Yeah, but even short-term memory has a couple parts to it.
Oh, really?
There's just holding the information, like a phone number, and then there's working memory.
Okay.
That's
yeah.
more about, like, manipulating the information, doing mental math.
Gotcha. So holding versus working with it.
Yeah, and psychologists think we have the most control over that working memory part.
That's interesting.
So that's where we can really work to improve.
Hmm.
This is where things start to get really interesting,
Okay.
because it shows how memory isn't just passive, it's active.
We're doing something, not just storing.
And Lifebook really emphasizes that. They have this great quote.
Oh, I love a good quote.
It's from Marcel Proust. Remembrance of things past is not necessarily the remembrance of things as they were.
Ooh, that's deep.
Right. What does that even mean?
I think it's saying our memories aren't perfect recordings. They're like reconstructions colored by how we feel, our beliefs.
And even by how we feel now.
Totally. It's like our brain is constantly editing, revising.
Yeah, creating a narrative almost.
Exactly. So that happy childhood memory.
Maybe it wasn't all sunshine and roses.
Right. Or that fight you had with a friend, they might remember it totally differently.
Oh, absolutely. And Lesley University talks about how we forget stuff too.
There's got to be more than just time passing.
Yeah, there's decay, of course. If you don't use it, you lose it.
Makes sense.
But there's also interference,
Interference.
where new info overwrites the old.
Oh, like trying to remember your old password?
Yeah, you just can't access it.
Yeah, the worst.
And then there's the 7 sins of memory.
What? That sounds ominous.
This is from a psychologist, Daniel Schachter. He says these are all the ways our memory can be unreliable.
Wait, what?
Things like transience, absent-mindedness, blocking, suggestibility.
Okay, so memories can be distorted or just blocked completely.
Or even implanted by suggestion. It's wild.
It really makes you think, like, how much can we even trust what we remember?
Right. And this leads to the discovery by Biotech MN, a link between memory and epigenetics.
Now, this is where things get really interesting. Epigenetics, most people think DNA, right? What we get from our parents.
Yeah, the genes.
But epigenetics, that's a whole other layer. Think of it like this. Genetics is the hardware, the computer itself.
And epigenetics is the software.
Exactly. It's not about changing your DNA, but how your genes are expressed, turned on or off.
Oh, I see.
Biotech MN describes it as like chemical tags attaching to our DNA.
Wow.
And get this, these tags can be influenced by our experiences.
So what I do, how I live, can actually change how my genes work.
That's what the research is suggesting.
That's incredible.
And for memory, this is huge.
Yeah.
So in this study, Biotech MN talks about they messed with the epigenetics in mice.
How'd they do that?
They used a virus, and the mice with more open neurons, meaning the genes are more easily expressed.
Yeah.
Those mice learned way better.
So it's not just how strong the connections between neurons are.
Right.
It's if they can even make strong connections in the first place.
And epigenetics is controlling that.
Whoa, so some neurons could be like superstars, but they need the right environment.
Yeah, that openness seems to be key.
This is blowing my mind. It's like there's this whole other level of control we have.
Over our own biology.
And we had no idea.
Exactly, and it raises so many questions.
Like what?
What if we could, hack our epigenome?
To get better memory.
Yeah. Or even treat memory disorders.
This is really exciting stuff. It makes all those memory tips even more important.
Holy.
It's not just habits.
It's shaping our brains.
At the genetic level.
Exactly. Remember, Lesley University said to avoid multitasking.
and reduce distractions,
Now we see maybe that's directly affecting the epigenome.
making it easier to form those strong memories.
Right. And Lifebook, they were big on writing things down.
Maybe that's not just for keeping a record.
Maybe it's actually strengthening those epigenetic tags.
It's all connected.
And it shows how important self-care is.
Getting enough sleep,
Exercise, eating right, it's not just good for your body
it could be changing your genes for the better.
to boost your memory.
So if you want a better brain, start with a good night's sleep.
And a healthy breakfast.
You might be surprised what a difference it makes. It's amazing to think just going for a walk or sleeping enough.
Could actually be protecting your memory long term.
Crazy, right?
Yeah.
And it's not just about remembering stuff.
It really shows how connected our mind and body are.
Yeah, and the implications go way beyond losing your keys.
Think about the legal system, eyewitnesses.
Oh, right. They rely on that so much.
And now we know how unreliable memory can be.
Those 7 sins, suggestibility, bias.
It can totally change how people remember things, especially under pressure.
So like stressful situations.
Exactly. And that's led to some big changes.
In the legal system.
Yeah, things like double-blind lineups.
Where the officer doesn't know who the suspect is.
Right, to reduce the chance of accidental suggestion.
It's really cool how understanding memory better is changing things in the real world.
And it's not just law, education too.
How so?
Imagine classrooms designed to help you remember better.
Using what we know about the brain,
Exactly, and students who are actually excited to learn.
instead of just memorizing facts.
And think about learning disabilities.
Oh yeah,
If we can figure out the epigenetics behind those,
we could help people so much better.
more targeted treatments, interventions.
This whole deep dive has been amazing.
It really have.
It makes you realize how much we still don't know about memory,
So much to discover.
but also how much potential there is.
To improve, to enhance this incredible ability.
It's like we're not just stuck with the genes we're born with.
We can actually shape our own brains.
Through our experiences, our choices.
And that's pretty powerful.
It really is, makes you feel like you have some control, you know.
Exactly. And who knows what we'll discover next.
I can't wait to see what the future holds for memory research.
Me too. It's such a fascinating field.
Well, this has been an incredible journey into the world of memory.
It really has.
For anyone who wants to learn more, check out the show notes. We've got links to all the sources we talked about.
And if you want more mind-blowing deep dives like this one,
Be sure to subscribe to the show.
on YouTube and Spotify.
We'll have plenty more fascinating topics coming your way.
Until next time, keep those brains active and those memories sharp.